Hey guys, welcome back. So today we are going to kind of be reviewing exponential functions, and hopefully we will start to get a better understanding of them. So exponential functions are defined by an equation in the form of y equals a times b to the x minus h plus k. Alrighty, so that is our form. Now, who can recall what our a means? Our a is our initial value. What about our b? It's our base, which is what? Our multiplier. Okay, what about our h? It is our horizontal shift. And who remembers what's important about this one? It lies. And then k is our asymptote. It is also our vertical shift. Cool. Alrighty. So hopefully that's a little bit of a good review. And then if our b value, our base, is greater than 1, then our function is going to be an exponential growth. And our graph is also increasing. Now, if b is greater than 1, what type of number are we talking about? We are talking about a whole number. So then if b is less than 1, the function is an exponential decay. And it is decreasing. So then what type of number is b if it's less than 1 and we have a decay? That's going to be called a fraction. Can b be positive, can b be negative? No, it cannot. B can only be positive. Alrighty. And so then who remembers what an asymptote is? It is an imaginary line that our graph never touches or crosses. Okie dokie, so that should have been a really good review of what all of our vocab is. Okay, so now let's try out our first problem. We need to graph it by creating a table of values and then answer the questions to the right. So in order to graph it, we need our graphing calculator, well, our yellow calculators. So when we put it on, we need to press this table button, and that's going to give us y equals. So we are going to type our equation exactly as we see it. This one says 2 to the x, so we're going to type 2, and then we're going to press this button right here, which is going to give us that box above, and then we're going to press X. And if this had anything added or subtracted from it, we would press this button over here in order to get it to move back to the right. So since we don't, we're going to press Enter. We're going to press Enter a whole bunch of other times until we get to OK and press Enter. And this is our table of values. Now remember, we are able to scroll up and scroll down. Okay, so we are going to start at x equals -1. So as we list out our values, we are going to list them on our paper. So we have our x's and our y's. So -1 is 1/2. And if we highlight the -1 and then press this button down here, hold on, this one right here, it will give it to us in fraction form right there. Okay, so at -1 we have 0.5. And then at 0 we have 1. At 1 we have 2. At 2 we have 4. And at 3 we have 8. We could also list 4, but 16 is too large to go on our graph, okay? So you may want to make sure that you list 5 points, and then you will graph the ones that actually fit on your graph, okay? So sometimes you will list more points than can actually fit on your graph, but you have to list 5 points. Alrighty, so now that we have those, we are actually going to graph them. So we have -1 and 0.5, which is just somewhere in the middle right there. And then 0, 1, and then 1, 2, 2, 4, and 3, 8. All right, now, who knows what our asymptote is? If you don't remember, take a look up here, and it says we have our A, our B, our H, and our K. If we go over here, our K is our asymptote. And if we notice, that's whatever is added or subtracted. Do we have anything added or subtracted over here? No. So that means that our asymptote is 0. So we're going to put our imaginary dashed line over 0. And then we can connect our dots. Alrighty, now looking at our graph, left to right, do I have a growth or decay? I have a growth. Because our graph is increasing. And what else did we say if we look at our equation? Our b is equal to 2, and 2 is a whole number, which means that we have exponential growth. Alrighty, everybody should be able to answer this one. What is my domain? It is all real numbers. Okay, now our range deals with our y value. So that's going to be our y. And then it also deals with our asymptote, which is 0. And so all we have to do is figure out if our graph is below our asymptote or above it. Our graph is above our asymptote, so y is going to be greater than 0. And then our y-intercept is wherever we cross the y-axis on our graph, or on our table of values, wherever x equals 0. So we have the point 0, 1 as our y-intercept. And then our asymptote, we already talked about, is whatever is added or subtracted from our equation, whatever line our graph approaches, and we know that it has to be y equals 0. Alrighty, so that's our first problem and our first video. So let's move on to our next video. I'll be back in a moment.